When the Lord brought back the captivity of Zion, we were like those that dream. Then our mouth was filled with laughter, and our tongue was singing. Then they said among the nations, the Lord has done great things for them. The title of this short message is, God will either turn the situation around for you or you for it. God will either turn your situation around for you or turn you around for the situation. If you don't mind, you can say it with me. God will either turn the situation around for me or turn me around for the situation. The good news is we serve a God that turns things around. A God that does not only turn things around, but can suddenly turn things around, no matter how bad the situation is. The Bible is full of stories and testimonies of God turning things around for His people and for His purpose. We know the story of what happened at the Red Sea for the people of God, Israel. We know the story of what happened at River Jordan under the leadership of Joshua. We know the story of how manna came from heaven and God fed His people for 40 years. Water from the rock. And we also know the story of the widow of Zarephath, that God gave her an economic turnaround. We know the story of the deliverance of Daniel from the den of lions. We know the story of the 3 Hebrew brothers from the furnace of fire. We know the story of the economic turnaround at the gate of Samaria. We can go on and on. Even in the New Testament, we know how Jesus turned water to wine at a wedding gathering to save the day for the host. We know the story of how Lazarus was raised from the dead, the story of the widow of Nain, and many other stories like that. It shows that God is able and willing to turn things around. Maybe your life has reached that stage where you said, God, unless you do something, I'm sinking. Maybe you have got to a point in your life and in your journey that say, Lord, if you don't show up at this breaking point of my life, I'm finished. There is a God that turns things around. The psalm that we read was about Israel as a nation and a people, when God in a supernatural way brought them back from captivity. And it says, we were like them that dream. It happened in such a way that they thought they were dreaming. Have you ever been there? That some things will happen in your life and you'll be asking, is it true? If this is a dream, I don't want to wake up. Let the dream just continue, because it's just too good to be true. That is the God that we serve. It's a God that salvages situations even when they are so bad. But life can be like a roller coaster. As you come out of one problem and you are celebrating the victory, another challenge is waiting around the corner. If you have been there, let me see your hand up in this auditorium. Sometimes when you are going through some tough time, you say, God, if you can just do this for me, I will not trouble you again in a long while. You know you are not telling the truth. Even that victory itself will come with its own attendant challenges. What you are able to manage on your own, and until you became uncomfortable in that situation, and you pray for a breakthrough, that breakthrough will come with its own bigger headache to maintain, that will make you to come back to God. That is the cycle of life. So when you look at verse 4 of the psalm that was read, Psalm 126, can we go to verse 4? After they have celebrated the victory, that we were like them that dream when we saw what God did, then they now brought their petition. Turn again our captivity, O Lord. Have the streams in the south. I will pause there for a moment. Maybe that depicts your life. Today you are sharing testimony of how God delivered you, or how God turned things around from certain challenges you've been facing for months or years. Then the next day, the journey takes another turn of another bigger challenge. It's meant to be like that. And that is why David said, when the whole nation of Israel was faced with the challenge of Goliath, David brought his CV and he presented his resume. He said, I have a God who has once delivered me from the lion and the sheep put under my charge, and also from the she-bear. And that same God will make this new challenge to be like one of them. That is the cycle of life. When you think you are just coming out of one, another is just waiting around the corner. Another is waiting around the corner. That is life for you, brethren. But when we're talking about turnaround, he said this psalm, he said like streams in the south. He's talking about Negev. Amen? This part of Israel, in the southern part called the Negev, a place full of dry spells in summer. Dryness. Everything is just dry. And the funny thing is that when it's rainy season, with little rain, it tends to be flooded. It can be so dry and it can be easily flooded. Amen? Amen. You need God to turn things around. Is your life like that? A naked life where there is no water and it's just like dry beds that you see in some places in dry season. Amen. You need God to turn things around. You need the touch of God in your life to deal with the dryness. It could be captivity to a particular sin, some form of bondage, dryness of your spiritual life, or weariness in spirit, or dryness or challenges in your marriage, or dryness in your finances, or dryness in your health, or dryness in your soul, or even your vision is so dry. You don't even know what the future holds for you. You don't even want to think about it anymore, because the thought of what the future may hold even scares you to death because of what you are going through, as if there is no future. Or dryness comes even after victory. Elijah had victory on Mount Carmel, and he was like a hero. Everybody celebrated him, and he was walking with shoulder high like this. But the following day, he got a telegram that within 24 hours, if your head still remains on your neck, call me a bastard. Signed by Jezebel. So the man that was being celebrated yesterday took to his heels today. Was running. They saw him at the garage. Uncle, where are you going? He said, no address. I don't know yet. I'm just going. But where's your... No. Your luggage, don't forget our luggage. The hero of yesterday. Because life is like that. Are you in that stage of your life that you have celebrated your victory so much that you are even ashamed to tell people about your new challenges? I put it to you, that's the way life was designed to be. It's not peculiar to you. But one thing that is constant is that same God that fixed your lion yesterday, that same God that fixed the sheep here yesterday, is still on the throne to fix even this Goliath that is facing you. Brethren, the other side of the coin is that there are times, and some people are in that times of their life now, when you cry to God, when you pray, when you shout, when you scream, when you get angry, and you calm down for the change to come, and the change refuses to come. Like we said earlier on in that Jeremiah 8:22. Can we go back to it for a minute? Jeremiah 8:22. Maybe that is the stage of your life. That is the situation where you are at the moment. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then? Why then? Why then? Everything needed is available. Everything that needed to be done has been done. Whatever needs to be put in place is being put in place. Why then is there no change? Why then is there no turnaround? Are you at the stage of why then of your life? I come to announce to you that God is still in charge. Amen. God of the mountains is still the God of the valleys. Yeah, it's good news when I tell you that God will turn things around. But the greater news is that even if He doesn't turn things around, He's still working. He's still in charge. Yes. When heaven is silent over you, it does not mean that heaven is hiding over your case. When heaven is silent over you, it seems your prayer is hitting the ceiling and coming back. It seems your fasting is not making any difference. It seems that the harder you pray, the harder the problem becomes. When heaven seems to be silent over your case, it does not mean that heaven is idle over your case. Because there are times when God, His ultimate plan is not to change the situation for you, because changing the situation for you is a palliative measure. That's not what you need. He wants to change you for the situation. And you are not listening enough. Psalm 24 says, we are the generation of them that seek your face, not seeking His hands, seeking his face, you will know his mind. He will communicate to you his thoughts, his plans, his intent, why he's doing what he's doing. But if you just focus on his hands, and your eyes are darting between his hands and his pocket, see what is bringing out of his pocket, you will be missing out on what he's saying. We are the generation of them that seek your face. So this is the generation of them that seek him, that seek thy face, O God, O Jacob. Seek his face. That seek his face. Amen. Amen. 2 Corinthians chapter 1 from verse 8. Paul was speaking. He said, for we do not want you to be ignorant, brethren, of our trouble which came to us in Asia, that we were burdened beyond measure, above strength, so that we despaired even of life. Yes, we had the sentence of death in ourselves, that we should not trust in ourselves, but in God who raises the dead. One thing is common with human beings. We always want to attribute problems or misfortune or crisis, especially in the Christian community, to one sin or another. They found a man, amen, that had problem right from his mother's womb. And they asked Jesus, please, who has sinned? He said, this man or his parents? That is the typical way of thinking. The religious mind. That a holy God cannot allow this to happen to this. Something must have gone wrong. And Jesus corrected that impression. Amen. He corrected that impression. This is Paul speaking here in 2 Corinthians that I've just read, chapter 1 from verse 8. He said, well, we do not want you to be ignorant, brethren, of our trouble. Why should Paul have trouble? This is a man who was sold out to God. All his thinking, all his mind, all his aspiration, all his ambition, all his communication, all his lifestyle was about the kingdom. Should he have trouble? Yet they had not just trouble. He says, we were burdened beyond measure. It was even beyond what we bargained for. Above strength. It was beyond our strength. So that we despaired even of life. And you know, Paul, if you know the style of his writing, he does not exaggerate. He picks his words carefully. That we ran into trouble. There are times that you run into trouble. Even when you are doing the things of God. Are you with me? And in his personal life, the same Paul said that the servant of Satan in my life, 3 times I prayed to God that he should remove it. But 3 times I prayed. 3 times I got the same reply, that my grace is sufficient for you. That means the first time he got answer to his prayer, he was not comfortable with the answer. As many of us. Oh no, there must have been a mistake somewhere. This answer could not have been for me. No. Because I fasted 3 days, now I will fast 7 days. he went to 7 days fasting, hoping to get a different result. And he cried and he cried and he cried. And God spoke, and the answer was still the same. Oh, no. I need to go back. Maybe this time I will have to fast 21 days. He now fasted 21 days. Dry fast. And he prayed in the night, he prayed in the day. And the answer was still the same. Because God does not speak from both sides of his mouth. Man has his will by nature, and God has his will. Amen.
Amen.
And the word of God is always aligned with the will of God. Amen. And the essence of our existence is to live for the will of God. To live according to the will of God. Because the mandate that brought man into existence said, let us make man in our own image, after our own likeness. Originally you were patterned after God. And your will should align with the will of God. And until your life begins to mirror the image of the Son of God, God is not finished with you. You are still a work in progress. No matter your title, no matter your position, no matter your age, no matter your exposure, until your life, he said, we behold the image as like in a mirror. As the longer we behold the image, we are being transformed into the same image. As you look at the mirror, the word of God is the mirror. The longer you tarry to behold the image, to behold the image, to behold the image, awares or unawares, you are being transformed after the image and in the likeness of the Son of God. Amen. You may want God to change the situation, but what he wants to do, if anything needs to change, it is you for the situation. There are times God will allow you to be put in a tight corner. In a tight corner. Not to destroy you, but to build and develop your muscles. For those who are gym freak, who are crazy about losing weight, who are so keen on fitness, they want to build their six-pack. Amen? It requires a lot of things. While you are mounting and you are building your own mountain of your cake, salad cake, apple cake, whatever cake, strawberry cake, and you put it on one side, and if you come from where I've come from, and you build your mountain of pounded yam and egusi and all that goes with it, and you come from the other side of my friend, and you build your ugali or banku, and you build all of this together as if you are throwing a party for 50 people and it's just about you. The other guy, in fact, he will not even want the smell to affect his weight. He will walk away. Not to share the food, but just to be able to smell, so that he will not be tempted. Amen? It's not just about you saying, can I follow you to the gym tomorrow? Follow him to the gym tomorrow. And you just go there and you jump and stretch and you go back home. You go back to your pounded yam and your banku and all your cakes put together. You lose half, you get home, you gain double. Amen? So to develop and to build muscles, when they say you want to burn fat, you don't take fire and begin to burn all the fat in your body. You will be burning your body. Something needs to be done on the inside to burn the fat. You need to generate some heat on the inside before you can burn the fat. Am I right? God may want to generate some heat in your life to burn some fat and build some muscles. And because you have sat for too long in your comfort zone, He will allow some things to put you on the edge so that you can be on your toes and begin to develop. Muscles grow as we exercise them. Muscles that you don't use, they don't grow. They don't grow. And God has been waiting. God has been waiting for you to grow up, to get better, so you can get bigger. But you are too comfortable in your comfort zone. You are too comfortable in your comfort zone. So what I'm saying to you, church, is that no matter what you are going through at the moment, you have reached your point of why then? Is there no balm in Gilead? That is your song. Is there no physician there? Why then? Why then? What else do I need to do that I have not done? Because you are missing what God is saying to you. Your pain has a purpose. Say, my pain, has a purpose. It took Paul a while to get to that summit in his life, in his personal life. Well, this was his personal problem, personal issue in his life. But he mentioned it in his letter to teach us something. He said these things that are written for our samples, as lessons for us. And I've told you before, church, the teacher comes to class. The teacher gives lessons and gives tests later. But life does it the other way around. Life will give you a lesson, a test, and expect you to draw your lesson from it. Teacher gives lessons, am I right? And bring tests out of it. But life gives tests and expect you to draw your lesson out of it. But if you fail to get the lessons, what happens? You repeat the class. Amen? Thank God in the United Kingdom, students don't repeat class. Do they? No. But life doesn't show mercy. No patch up. Just put him on trial. Maybe we'll gain, maybe we improve as it goes along. Life, no. If you miss the lesson, life will bring the test again. You will keep writing the same test. Because it may be your relationship. Some people come into your life, amen, to do you good. Some people come into your life to do you evil. But they have not done you evil. They have only taught you a lesson. But if you fail to learn that lesson, if they took one high when they were going, the other high is not guaranteed. Because the test will repeat itself. And if you lost the left eye the first time, know that the right eye now is in danger. There is a lesson you need to learn from it. The same way, God will not promote you to the next level of your life until you have passed the previous level. Are you with me? Paul said, thank God I was afflicted, so that I may know how to comfort those who are going through the same affliction. Otherwise, I would just sit like a pastor behind a big desk, and I will be just rolling out and dashing out and doling out comfort and some kind of scripture that I've already memorized to you. Oh, brother, the Lord will do it. You know, brother, these things happen in life, you know, according to Genesis, according to, and I'll be quoting scripture upon scripture. But because he has been through it himself, and God took him through that valley, and he cried, and he prayed, and he fasted, and nothing happened until he came to a point where he said, God, why then? And listening to God in his moment of why then. And he got the lesson. Said, thank God I was afflicted. Those are told I may know, not just to sympathize, but to empathize with those who are going through the same affliction. We have not got an high priest who has not been through the same thing that we are going through. God became man to suffer like man, and to suffer for man, so that he could save man from suffering. Your pain has a purpose. Romans 8:28. And he said, and we know, Romans 8:28. Do you know? There is something about what you know. How you got to know it. Maybe you repeated the same class 4 times before you came to know. Or maybe you are the smart type. The first time it happened, say, I cannot take this risk again. And you got the lesson quickly. And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. Brethren, God is calling you to come to that level, to know that your pain God is not finding it amusing just to punish or torture you. No. God is saying something. What is the mind of God about it? No parent delights in the sickness and the suffering of their child. And Jesus used that analogy. He said, who among you will his child? He used father-child relationship. Ask for this, I will give him that. Or request for this, and give him that. If you that are evil know how to give good things to your children, no parent here or anywhere would delight in the sickness. No parent will say, because my child can be stubborn at some times, and he throws the child to Al-Qaeda or Al-Shabaab or Boko Haram. Discipline this child for me. After 3 months, I'll come back for him. He will have learned his lesson. No. But God is making something for your greater good. For your greater good. Is allowing you to pass through some things because the journey is long. Because the task is onerous ahead of you. And the level where you are now, the way you are operating now, you are not ready for what he has got in plan for you. Jeremiah 29:11, as I prepare to close, he said, I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord. Plans for welfare and not for calamity. To give you a future and a hope. Because whatever you are going through, whatever is happening in your life, 2 things that are always under threat is your hope and your future. But God said those 2 things I've come to give you, a future and a hope. Shall we rise on our feet, church? A future and a hope. Your pain is saying something. Your pain has a purpose. Your pain is not glorifying God. Your pain is not making God happy to say, yes, that served him right. No. He's a good father. He's a good father. And he says, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Paul is writing to the Thessalonian church. And in the concluding part of the first letter to the Thessalonians, he says to rejoice always, pray without ceasing, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Time will not permit me to connect these disjointed statements. Rejoice always is a statement on its own. Pray without ceasing is a statement on its own. Then in everything give thanks. But when you combine the three together, it makes more sense to you. Rejoice always. Circumstances do not allow you to rejoice always. There are times that things that are happening in your life does not call for rejoicing. But rejoice always, because whatever is happening in your life is not determined by you. You have one that is in you that is greater than the circumstances. So you rejoice because it's not determined by your strength to fix it, but by his strength. And you pray without ceasing because you know he hears, and you know it's for you, it's not against you. And praying without ceasing does not mean to be requesting without ceasing. Sometimes your prayer in that context could be adoration, to appreciate him, to say, Father, I thank you. Despite all I'm going through, you still love me. You care about me. I know you are in charge. I know your beautiful plan for me. You are praying without ceasing. It's not always about give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. That's not praying without ceasing. Your prayer may not be not to request, but to offer. To offer adoration to him, even in the state of your crisis. And in everything give thanks. Even when you have not seen the result, give thanks, because you know that the result has been dispatched and is in transit. And because you say that, Jesus, they said, if you will you heal us? Then he sent them where to get healing. He sent them where he has already healed them, but he wanted them to travel there. Go and show yourself to the priest. On the way, the healing took place. Not there and then in front of Jesus. Maybe that is your case. Maybe you are on your way to show yourself to the priest. You are still seeing the leprosy. But because you have already communicated with him who has power, who got the power to remove it, you have spoken to him. And while you are worshiping him, while you are praying without ceasing, while you are giving thanks in everything, then you look at your body and the color of your skin begins to change. And the problem is no more. The challenges are no more. All you see is you look around and he asked the woman, where are your accusers? Who wanted you to be put to death? The woman said, I cannot see them. She said, if no one accused you, neither do I condemn you. I want you to pray this moment, church. I want you to just speak to God at this junction. Are you at your point of widening? Have you been singing and crying and praying? Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then is my case like this? Have I not been praying enough? Have I not been fasting? Have I not been calling upon the Lord? Why then is my situation like this? If you are at your point of why then, God is saying something to you today, that your pain has a purpose.